2 weeks ago, I released this video about keema, where Dave the Video Maker commented that would be an Indian twist on a shepherd's pie filling. I immediately commented back with mashed aloo masala as the top, and thus a new culinary creation was born. I'll put it this way, if you like shepherd's pie, you'll like this dish. If you love Indian food, you may like this even better than the original. Also, this thing's really heavy, so I'm gonna put it down. You see, a classic shepherd's pie has two components, a lamb meat base and a mashed potato top. Keema, as we covered in my video on it, is a spiced ground meat dish most classically made with lamb that already has a very similar texture to the shepherd's pie filling. For the mashed potato top, we turn to aloo masala, which basically translates to spiced potatoes. Now, aloo masala is probably most commonly used as a filling for one of my all-time favorites, masala dosa, but can also be used as a general side dish. I've followed fairly traditional preparations for the keema and the aloo masala, except obviously I needed to add some tweaks to fit in with the whole shepherd's pie vibe, so let's make this thing. To start, we're going to prep all the vegetables for both pieces. I'm a huge proponent of cutting everything up once, even if there are two kind of clear different components to the dish. For the keema base, we're going to grate everything. Grab out the box grater and grate half of an onion, 2 carrots, 4 cloves of garlic, and a 1-inch piece of ginger. By grating all of the aromatics, they kind of just melt away as they cook down. Separate half of the garlic and ginger, and also slice up 2 green chilies and separate those as well. And half of this is going to be used for the aloo masala, half of this is going to be used for the keema. The last thing needed for grating is an aged Gruyere, and this cheese will be used in the potato filling later on, and obviously is not a traditional ingredient for aloo masala, but cheese is commonly seen in the potato filling of shepherd's pie, so you can omit this if you want, or use cheddar if you'd like. Lastly, peel about 1,200 grams or 8 to 10 Yukon Gold potatoes and dice them into cubes. Any potato can be used here, but I prefer the texture and color of a Yukon Gold. After cutting, wash the potatoes to remove excess starch that could result in a gummy texture once mashed, and that concludes the vegetables to be prepped, so now it is a good time to wipe down that cutting board and clean your knife. Now at the stove, place a cast iron over medium-high heat, and once hot, squish down a full pound of ground lamb and cook while stirring and scraping the pot until it is well browned. Really break the meat up with the spatula, or I actually busted out the pestle, into small little pieces that will kind of constitute the sauce. Once brown, turn the heat down to low and add the grated onion, carrots, garlic, ginger, and green chili, and cook these until they are softened, about 5 minutes. Now it is time to flavor and build the sauce. Add 2 cloves, 1 bay leaf, crushed up mustard seed, crushed up cumin seed, a spoonful of hot chili powder, a spoonful of turmeric, and a sprinkle of garam masala, and just stir the spices in and cook for about 30 seconds. Now, along with the tomatoes, I'll be adding 3 ingredients that were not in the keema recipe. These are tomato paste, Worcestershire sauce, and mushroom better than bouillon. All 3 components add umami and savory to the meat filling, as well as create the sauce structure. Add 250 grams of diced tomatoes, about 2 tablespoons or 30 grams of Worcestershire sauce, a big old spoonful of the mushroom bouillon, and a big squirt of the tomato paste. Stir everything together and let simmer for about 5 to 10 minutes until the sauce has reduced and thickened, and feel free to add more of the tomatoes or Worcestershire sauce to adjust the consistency. This is really best done by feel and taste. Once the base is cohesive, add in 100 grams of frozen peas and stir to combine, and then turn off the heat. Give the mixture a taste, and it should have tons of depth and complexity, a meaty gaminess from the lamb with the warmth of these spices and those savory and umami taste from the other components. Adjust the filling with salt or any of the sauces as you see fit, and let's prep the mashed aloo masala. Fill a pot with water and then place this on the stove and add the cubed potatoes along with a large pinch of salt so they season while cooking. Bring the water to a boil and let cook until a spoon easily pierces through, about 10 minutes. Also, as a note, the filling and the potatoes can and should be cooking at the same time. I didn't for filming purposes just because it's a little bit annoying constantly changing camera angles between two different things cooking at the same time. Strain the cooked potatoes, and then before we rice or mash them, add a drizzle of oil to the pot on the stove, and once hot, add black mustard seed and cumin seed until the black mustard seeds just start to pop. Toss in the green chili, garlic, and ginger we prepped earlier, along with a sprinkle of turmeric, and just saute that for about a minute or so, and then spoon it into a bowl. This spice and aromatic base is kind of a simplified version. In other traditional recipes, you may see the additions of onion, curry leaves, and types of dal. With the spice mixture done, rice all of the cooked potatoes. Now for a traditional aloo masala, the potatoes are not riced like this. Instead, they're just mixed with the spice mixture and kind of half mashed to create a roughened edge, but shepherd's pie calls for a more homogeneous potato topping, hence the ricing. To the riced potatoes, stir in the spices, aromatic, and oil mixture, and it gives it a really nice yellow tint with flecks of spices and tastes amazing as is. And right now, this is kind of a basic mashed aloo masala. To this mixture, I'm going to add 30 grams or about 2 tablespoons of butter and about 50 grams of milk to adjust the texture. Lastly, toss half of the grated Gruyere into the potatoes, and I want this topping to be really smooth and light, and you can see those little specks of spices and aromatics throughout. Toss the potato filling into a freezer bag for pipetting, and let's assemble. Smooth the lamb filling out into an even layer in the cast iron, and then pipette the potatoes into a thick layer. Smooth the potatoes flat with a spatula, and now using a fork, roughen up the edges or create a pattern on the topping. This will create nooks and crannies that will brown up as it bakes. Lastly, sprinkle the other half of the grated Gruyere over the top, and let's cook this thing. Add the cast iron to a preheated 425° Fahrenheit oven and bake for about 20 minutes until the top has light browning and has crisped up a bit. Once brown to your liking, pull it out of the oven and let it cool for a painstaking 20 minutes so it firms up a bit, which is better for serving portions and thumbnail purposes. I mean, just look at those two layers, savory spice and everything nice. Let's devour. All right, everybody, taste test time. Dishes like these are some of my favorite things that you get from learning about cooking. You try out different recipes, and then you get a little inspiration, and then you turn it into something completely new. And I also added some pickled onions on top. Not just for the meme of it, but because it actually helps cut through. I mean, this is a pretty heavy dish, so using something like pickled onions, something a little fresh in there, actually works quite well with this dish. I mean, what can I say? It's a great dish. Like, when I first made this for the first time around a couple days ago, I wanted to recipe test it because I was wanted to find where the line was between making it literally just keema and mashed aloo versus kind of trying to blend in some of those shepherd's pie components. So the first time I had it, very, very good. Made some slight tweaks to this version, but it's really, really nice. I mean, if you like Indian food, you'll get kind of some of those signature spices and tastes, but it definitely is kind of on that line in between both. It plays both very well. You know, if you serve this to someone and just say, hey, it's just shepherd's pie with some extra spices, they may be like, oh, yeah, I could buy that. But it is definitely, you know, pretty far on that kind of Indian-inspired side with the keema and the aloo masala as kind of our core inspiration pieces. The potatoes on this, super light and fluffy. I love Yukon Golds for something like that. And then just mixing in a little bit of butter and milk makes them silky smooth. And the Gruyere is a nice kind of tangy, almost cheese in there that not only crisps up on the top, but provides flavor in the potatoes. And then, I mean, this meaty filling it's so savory and like complex with all that stuff we added in there, not just from the spices, but also, you know, the tomatoes, the tomato paste, the mushroom, like better than bouillon, or you could use demi-glace or stock or a variety of other things. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. The recipe for this exact version will be up on the website. Got like check boxes and stuff down there. They're printable recipe cards, so they're actually a little bit more useful now. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. Hopefully you learned a little something. If you did, definitely drop me a like and subscribe. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.